Have you ever noticed that two people can experience the same exact challenge? One sees obstacle, the other sees an opportunity. One complains, the other gets creative. One gives up, and the other one grows up. Well, what's the difference? It isn't always education. It's not always their experience level. It isn't even talent. More often than not, it's attitude. And I know you've heard it because I've heard it. Your attitude can determine your altitude. In today's video, we're going to discover why your attitude is one of the greatest predictors of your personal and professional success. We'll talk about why attitude determines direction, why motivation is not always enough, and why the greatest obstacle in your professional world might not be that glass ceiling over your head, but it could be the floor beneath you. By the end of this episode, you'll have at least two practical strategies you can begin to use immediately to strengthen your mindset, improve your performance, and position yourself for greater opportunities. There's a quote that says, "Our attitude toward life determines life's attitude toward us." Wow, think about that for a minute. Not your education, not your resume, not your job title, your attitude. Your attitude determines your direction. The word attitude is a nautical term and it refers to the direction of the ship. A captain is constantly making adjustments to keep the vessel on course. There's even a phrase called attitude control, the intentional action taken to ensure the ship reaches its destination. Now, let me ask you a question. Where are you pointed? What direction are you facing? Because your words often reveal your destination. If your conversations are filled with, "I never," "they always," "nothing ever works," "I can't," your attitude may already be steering your future in the wrong direction. The destination is determined long before the ship actually reaches the harbor. It's determined from the outset what you're saying and how you intensify what you say by continuing to focus on the actions that support what it is you're saying. So, gotta watch what we say, right? The next thing that we need to understand is that temporary inspiration isn't permanent transformation. One time I attended a Tony Robbins event in New York. Now, if you have ever attended one of his seminars, you know exactly what I mean. The energy was unbelievable. The people were standing, cheering, jumping, believing that anything was possible. I found myself caught up in the same energy because the confidence is just contagious. Tony Robbins teaches that the person with the greater certainty often has greater influence, and I witnessed that firsthand. But then something happened. The event ends, the lights go out, the music stops, and we drive home. And now it's just you. No speaker, no crowd, no excitement, just you. What happens then? It is the person you go home with that I want to talk about. Because eventually, every motivational event has to end, but your attitude remains. So it's the ability to sustain your attitude here. And it is a practice that we must have to get from here to here on a consistent basis. The next thing I want to talk about is the glass ceiling, because it's not always the biggest problem. We've all heard about it before, and a lot of people complain about it, and they make the glass ceiling the reason why they're not getting to the place where they believe they belong. Those external barriers, bias, age, gender, race, organizational politics, and yes, they are real. I am not going to deny you that. I've seen them in action. I know they exist. I have been in the trenches with people in their careers for 25 years, and I have seen what the glass ceiling or the impact of those biases can do. But then in my mind, I had to learn that sometimes it's not the glass ceiling. It's something even more dangerous. I call it the sticky floor. The sticky floor represents those things that we do to ourselves, the negative thinking, the fears that have been instilled in us, our excuses that we lean on and ride every day, our poor attitude, our low expectations, and our limiting beliefs. The glass ceiling may slow us down, but the sticky floor keeps us tethered to the ground. And unlike many external barriers, we have influence. We have influence over that sticky floor. It's oftentimes mostly our mindset. We can change our words. We can change our habits. We can indeed change our attitude. So let's talk about a couple of things that we can implement even today to start to impact where our attitude is gauged. Two practical ways. Number one, become the captain of your own ship. Don't let circumstances determine your direction. Adjust your attitude daily and ask yourself every single morning, what direction am I choosing today? From my own experience in my own life, early in the morning, 5 o'clock, 5:15, I'm silent. I'm by myself. I'm reading my Bible. I'm praying. I'm aligning myself with what I want my day to be, almost like that thermostat versus the thermometer. The thermostat sets the temperature and maintains the temperature. It regulates it. The thermometer reads the temperature and reflects the temperature. So if we want our day to be consistent, we have to set it like the thermostat instead of following it up and down like the thermometer, if that makes a whole lot of sense. So when I'm deciding my direction, and when you decide your direction, I encourage you to be very intentional. Do it as early in the morning as humanly possible for you and decide, I'm going to be this person. I'm going to operate this way, and I'm going to hit these goals today. Now, will it all be perfect? No. When a thermostat is set, it's already expected that it's either going to get too hot or too cold. The thermostat is in place to bring it back to where it has been set. So when you're in the heat of the summer, like I am right now, it is 90 degrees outside. And I won't tell you where my thermostat is set because my husband might be listening. But my thermostat is set. And so when my house gets hotter than where my thermostat is set, that thermostat immediately turns on the air conditioning to regulate it, to bring it back to where it has been set. So if we treat our mind intentionally like a thermostat, we can then start to regulate what's happening around us by regulating what's happening inside of us. This is an act of personal leadership because leadership begins with how you conduct and move yourself versus even thinking about how you're working with or helping or leading or guiding others. The second thing that I would like to suggest you do is to audit your language. For one entire week, I want you to get a notebook and I want you to start to take note of the things that you are saying. Pay attention to what is coming out of your mouth. Replace I have to with I get to. Replace this is impossible with this is difficult, but I'll figure it out. Remember, your words reveal your attitude, and your attitude influences your future. Here's what I want you to remember. Your attitude won't eliminate every obstacle. It won't guarantee everything's going to be easy, and it will not remove every challenge, but it will determine how you respond to every last one of them. And over time, your responses shape your results. As I often say, performance begins before performance. It begins with mindset. It begins with attitude. If today's episode has encouraged you, I'd love to ask you to do 3 things. First, like this video so that YouTube will share it with more professionals who need this message. Second, subscribe to the channel so that you will get notified the next time we release a video. And finally, tell me in the comments, what's the one attitude adjustment you're committing to making this week? I'd love to hear your thoughts, and I will personally join the conversation. Remember, your attitude determines your altitude.